the moment I stepped into the luxury room space. I knew this was going to be wild. The smell of fresh paint, the echo of emptiness, and a giant box labeled "Do Not Touch" in the corner. Of course I touched it. Inside was a monitor so massive it made my cheap TV look like a toy. Curved, ultra-wide, and brighter than my future. The team rolled in a carbon fiber desk with built-in LED strips that react to sound. Every click, every beat of music lights up the walls in perfect sync. It felt less like a room and more like stepping into a sci-fi movie. I wanted to go all out. The PC itself had to be the heart of the beast. So we built a custom water-cooled system with glass tubes glowing neon blue, dual RTX cards stacked like jet engines, and a processor that could probably run NASA. The price? Let's just say I could have bought a used car. But I didn't stop there. We installed surround sound speakers hidden in the walls, a gaming chair that massages your back while heating your seat, and a ceiling that changes color depending on what game I'm playing. Red for war, blue for peace, purple for chaos. When I finally powered it all on, the room exploded with light. The hum of the PC, the pulse of the LEDs, the faint scent of tech and money. For a moment, I just stood there thinking, is this still gaming, or did I accidentally build a spaceship? But here's the thing, a setup is only as good as the experience. So I sat down, loaded the same games I played on the $50 setup, and prepared to see what luxury really feels like. Instantly, the difference was unreal. No lag, no delay, just smooth perfection. Every detail, every shadow, every reflection, it all felt alive. I jumped into a racing game, and it was like I could smell the burning tires. I could literally feel the sound vibrating through the room. But halfway through the experience, I realized something strange. The more perfect everything got, the less I cared about winning. On the cheap setup, every frame felt like survival. Every victory felt earned. Here, it was effortless, beautiful, but almost too easy. That's when I decided to invite a few friends. I told them nothing about which setup cost what. We blindfolded them, swapped them between rooms, and recorded their reactions. The first friend walked into the cheap setup, looked around, and said, "This feels like my childhood." He started laughing, grabbed the old controller, and lost himself in nostalgia. When we took him to the luxury room, his jaw hit the floor. "Bro, this isn't a setup. This is the future." Another friend, though, surprised me. After testing both, he said, honestly, "The cheap one feels more fun. The expensive one feels like a museum." That hit me. Maybe gaming isn't about how advanced your setup is, it's about how alive it feels. To push it further, I ran a small challenge. We played the same game in both rooms, back to back, and tracked performance, excitement, and fun, statistically. Sure, the luxury setup won in graphics, sound, and comfort, but when it came to laughter, chaos, and that raw spark of joy, the cheap setup took the crown. Then came the real test, sleeping overnight in both setups. In the budget room, I had one blanket, a flickering LED, and a noisy fan that sounded like a dying robot. It wasn't glamorous, but it felt real. I stayed up late just talking to friends online, joking, vibing, forgetting the world. The next night, I crashed in the luxury room. The chair reclined automatically, the lights dimmed to a soft blue, and the speakers played ambient waves. It was incredible but quiet, almost too quiet. By morning, I realized something profound. The cheapest room made me appreciate every second. The expensive room made me comfortable, but comfort doesn't always mean connection. That's what gaming really is, connection. To your friends, your world, your imagination. You can't buy that with leads or carbon fiber. But of course I couldn't end the experiment there. I wanted to find out if mixing both worlds could create the ultimate balance. So I took the best elements of each, the creativity, and charm of the cheap setup, the polish and power of the expensive one, and built a hybrid. Mid-range budget, maximum soul. It had a solid desk, one good monitor, decent peripherals, and just enough RGB to make it glow without blinding me. When I turned it on, it felt right. Not too perfect, not too poor, just right. I called the friends back, let them test all three setups, cheap, luxury, and hybrid. The results blew my mind. Almost everyone picked the hybrid as their favorite. It wasn't the flashiest or the fanciest, but it felt alive, comfortable, creative, personal. That's when I realized the best gaming room isn't about price. It's about passion. Whether you're sitting on a plastic chair with an old keyboard or reclining in a $5,000 seat surrounded by neon light, the heart of gaming stays the same. It's the excitement, the escape, the connection. It's the moments you can't measure with money. So if you're watching this right now and thinking you need thousands to enjoy gaming, you don't. Start where you are, build what you can, and make it yours. And maybe, just maybe, one day you'll look around your setup, cheap or expensive, and realize that the best gaming room in the world is the one that makes you forget you're in one.